2. Torment Tides of Numenera. As always, with the stupid sun to my right, your left, whatever, and the game in front of us. And that's what we're gonna play. Torment Tides of Numenera. Oh, but this way, so I can hear myself and at least kind of listen to the crap I'm talking. Okie dokie. We load a game, as one does when playing one, and give standard kick thugs. Give standard, comma, kick thugs. Right. We wanted to give the standard back to this drunken fella in the Chayurchin slums. Artalio. Yeah, that's the one. And see what it's gonna do then. We kind of want to or need to make him go into the maw, I think. But I don't. He's not a good guy, but he's not a bad guy. Not really. I don't know if he really deserves this kind of. Well, it's not a punishment. This kind of treatment. Well, let's see. Artalio, I brought you your standard. You again? He takes a swallow of his vile-smelling drink. I think you're missing something. And let's give him back his company's standard. Yeah. The conversations around the slum die down. Artalio's soldiers look at you, at each other, at their commander, and at the standard that Artalio takes from you and unfurls. He unfolds it reverently, momentarily taking his eyes from the maw. The standard is stained from the murder's trash heap, bloody and torn, but he holds it as if it were an infant. His face and voice lose their ironic, cynical edge. I am in your debt, Castor. Truly I am. Name your price. And yeah. That's the situation where we now can make him go into the maw. Is there... There are other ways into... I think, into this crystal plane where we are supposed to go to bring find the magmatic Annulet and bring it back to Dracogen. But I don't know about them as of now. At this moment. Should we make him go through the maw? We could just take coin. We are low on cash. Or no, we will not say I need no repayment. We are Stealth Jack. We don't do that. I'll think about it. Let's think about it. He looks around again, his eyes lingering on the maw behind him, and he takes a long drink. Fine. I owe you a favor. Let me know when you want to call it in. What you drinking again? We would never be able to outdrink him. We are way too weak. There are many quests right now that we could do. Yeah, we want to step into the mutant quarters today, Little Nilyesh, where we could do this quest. And And we need to die to do this quest? We could do that one, because we haven't found the frame so far. And I think there is only one place in the Murden lair that we haven't explored yet. So it must be there. Missing patrols? We found some missing patrols. Is this the only patrol? I think to me the quest sounded 2 missing patrols. Yeah, there should be 2. Does it mean 2 people or 2 groups of patrols? Because if it's the latter, then I haven't found them, all of them yet. I haven't found them yet. Yeah, I don't know if you want to do that. A being known as the Decanted is looking for humans with aesthetically pleasing bodies. It says that it will take these humans to a place called the Opterer's Suite for a life of luxury and privilege. In return for my assistance in finding suitable candidates, it has offered a handsome reward. The problem about that is... Ah, shit. I killed her out of mercy. Ah. Yeah, well, the problem about that is that they cut off their heads. And to make room for new heads that get onto... plastered, grafted onto the remaining bodies. The Lost Anchorage. Well, yeah, there's quite a lot we can do. Talk to them all again. Yeah, we do have Artalia's essence and could do this ourselves. Let's do that. Let's do a quick save and then see what would happen if we went into the maw ourselves. You uncork the bottle of thin yellow gruel. The smell that rises is vile beyond description, like rotting meat mixed with acid, rank with fear. But underneath that fear is a bolder, earthier smell, and you focus on that rather than the sharp scent. It makes the draft go down easier, though you still gag as it clings to your throat. That's spit. And that's a clean display. The aftertaste is surprisingly not horrible. In fact, it's almost palatable. Actually, the aftertaste is becoming quite pleasant, bold, spicy, large. Your limbs tremble for a moment as a bout of fear shakes through you, adrenaline shorting your limbic system into a purely instinctive fight or flight. But that rush disappears, leaving behind a pleasant glow. Your head clouds, your vision tightens, a pressure building behind your eyes, not a painful pressure, but a feeling like you're about to cry or laugh harder than you've ever laughed before. Oh, it's laughter. You can feel laughter welling within you. You snort as you consider what this means for Artalia's legacy, deemed by most a coward dressing himself in the face of a brave man, but underneath is a man whose greatest pleasure is in his friends and in doing great deeds for them. You suddenly understand that his fear is not for himself, but the idea that he can't protect his cohort. Artalia's memories burn themselves into your consciousness, and you're not quite sure where his end and yours begin. You feel his mind and feelings jostling for space in your mind. The bloom tongues, which have been ignoring you until now, suddenly orient themselves in your direction. Observe them. Listen to them. let's offer ourselves. Even before you step into the tongue's embrace, they are reaching toward you like the arms of a lover, eager to receive you. And the next moment, they are all around you, stroking your arms and your head, passing through your flesh and igniting a prickly, hot-cold sensation across your skull. Memories begin to rise into your consciousness, but they are not your memories. They belong to Artalio. Oh, it really grabbed us. Okay. You see yourself leaping from the top of a gleaming metal cliff into a clear blue sea, while a sound like wailing voices echoes in your ears. You charge down a tunnel, screaming like a madman and brandishing a broken sword, slashing at slimy heads that emerge from all around you. And in spite of the danger, you're happy, because you've got thirsty, shouting friends at your back, and you've never felt so alive. You cling to the back of a winged creature behind its laughing female rider, and as she looks back at you, you're not sure if she's about to cut the cord that keeps you from falling off. Remain there. A wild grin spreads across your face. The part of you that is Artalio is enjoying these memories. Like everything else you've faced in your life, the tongues are nothing to fear. Why had you been so afraid? You're standing at attention in a dismal place, pounded into a dead grey muck by countless detonations and trooping feet. It stretches as far as your eyes can see. Your comrades are covered in the same grey muck. The life has gone out of them, and you know that you brought them to this, for nothing more than the promise of shins. The bloom tongues tighten their grip on your skull, becoming more solid, cracking your bones and tearing through the flesh of your scalp. More tendrils burst from the floor and grab hold of your legs. The part of you that is Artalio begins to scream, and the sound comes out of your own mouth. All around you, the voices of the bloom grow louder, closer, burning in your ears, drowning out your thoughts. And you fall into darkness.
I can't die.
Well, if we're really just in the labyrinth again, where I wanted to go anyway to talk to Aretus's demons, it all worked out very well. Saria Choi. We know them.
Yes. Now.
Aretus. I wonder if we should talk to him, or... Thank you. Or if these demons are somewhere else. Aretus, this timid, realer version of your companion, flinches as you approach, and yet there is a sly flicker of color in his eyes. The creatures tormenting him are watching you and laughing. Aretus, I want to talk to the Paragons and the Cathartics. Aretus's head snaps back with a crack. His arms shake, trapped at his sides. A dry rattling comes from deep in his throat. Slowly, he looks back down at you. One pupil is a vast flaming red, the other is a muted indigo. You are speaking with the audience, says countless booming, curious voices from Aretus's mouth. We are not sure why. You should be watching the hero with the rest of us. What's the language they understand? And how's the lighting situation? That's fine, I would say. That's even finer. And that's good. Good. Let's continue. He's endangering us. I don't think they care about us. And I don't think that they care that I care about him. I think they will understand that he belongs to me, not you. Untrue. This voice is softer, slyer, almost hissing. We took a herd of useless animals and turned him into a hero. Now he suffers, and in suffering inspires. He was insignificant, and now he is wonderful, the first voice says. Stop interrupting the performance. Let him find his destiny. We will move on after he is done. That's not good enough. Aratus's multicolored eyes gleam and he folds his arms. We do not mean to offend, but there is nothing you can do about it, so leave us alone, or we will make him cut his own throat. No, we won't. This is why you aren't in charge. The eyes blink out of sync. Know that we are not many, not anymore, but we have claimed every particle in his body. We hold them in our claws. To remove us is to tear him apart. And there's a pause. That's actually true. And it's the other voice. We want to make you an offer. Bargain. Stop interfering with the performance and we will increase the excitement, drama, and suspense. We will make the hero more powerful. The audience stretches Aratus's neck from side to side. What do you say? This will burn him out quicker, won't it? Of course, the paragons say, sounding puzzled, though Aratus's face is completely blank. We weren't trying to hide that, it was obvious to us. The indigo eye flickers. Instead of living for years, the hero will die in months, but he will be more useful to you. The red eye flares. Do we have a deal? You don't need my permission, but that's... During when we bargain with these demons, that's... I think it's stupid to say that. Can't you just leave him alone? Impossible. There's no him anymore. If we leave, he will collapse into a pile of fleshy bits. A pause. Actually, we would like to see that. Yes, we know you would, but we are running a performance here. The red eye gleams. Will you accept our bargain or not? Gain no benefit by ending his performance early, I hope. The audience falls silent for a long moment. But you are trying to end his performance, Pain, as well, aren't you? Trying to end his performance, his Pain as well, aren't you? With me as long as possible. I want him back to normal. I want Aratus to live his happy life. Yeah, I want him back to normal. Because I am that guy. You are not listening. He will never be normal. Boring. Again. He will die without us. Another moment of long silence follows. We offer you a new bargain, the paragons say at last. We will recede, but not reduce. We will avoid shouting. We never shout. We were talking about we us, not you us. Our apologies. Aratus folds his arms. We will see what the hero makes of himself when we do not guide his every step. Is this agreeable to you? Yes, that's acceptable. Because choice 2 is no good choice.
Making a note.
Done, the audience says together, and the lights in Aratus's eyes sink beneath the man's pale blue, growing cooler. Unbidden, a sigh of weeping relief escapes Aratus's mouth. Now, what else do you want from us? What are you? Aratus bellows laughter and chuckles softly at the same time. You called us, named us. We are the audience, the voyeurs. No, that's the wrong word, the perfect word. Stop it. You are wrong and we are speaking now. The creature's narrator stretches his mouth into a merry grin. We are the paragons. We control the body. Our heroes make the world a hopeful place. The smile slowly fades. We are the cathartics. We lie beneath the mind and guide his thoughts. We do not believe in hope. There is no hope. There are only those that suffer and those that are pleased to watch. Aratus straightens. The vessel came to us damaged, boring, useless, afraid. We are saving him from cowardice, fear. Because we are healers, voyeurs. No, we aren't. Stop saying that. That again? Who created you and for what purpose? We don't know or care. We were created and unleashed to be entertained, to watch, and to punish. That is what we do. Why are the Paragons dominant over the Cathartic? Let's ask that first. How did you meet Eratus? Interesting. Infuriating. Question. Do you want the long or the short version? We prefer the short version. We aren't asking you. The long version. A long time ago, we were a part of a greater swarm. The Paragons say over a multitude of minor groans. We were not limited to single heroes. We blessed armies with our voices and sent them against each other to entertain and inspire the world. The Cathartics grumbled to themselves. We filled the world with hope and excitement, but all people talked about were the dead bodies everywhere. We aren't sure why. The Paragons sigh. Our heroes were hunted down and destroyed. Our swarm was tampered with until we could no longer reproduce. Then we were sealed in a dark place until our hero, your hero, found us. The Paragons beam with Eratus' face. It was his destiny. That again? Now the short version? We were captured and sealed in a dark place. The hero found us. We rewarded him with purpose. That's the end of the story. Why are they dominant over the Cathartics? Because when the Cathartics get a hero, they throw it off a cliff or into spinning blades or a volcano just to hear it scream. Lies. You have done all those things and you know it. Let's talk to Eratus again. Be our guest. Eratus flinches, and the light of the audience fades from his pale blue eyes. I couldn't hear anything. It was like I was dead. But I feel... He feels calm out there. I'm not in control, but he is... I'm not making sense, but I feel better. Safer. Whatever you did, it helped. Thank you. What else do you need from me? Farewell. Noise. Noise. What are the other places? Oops. Talk to Choice some more. Farewell. Yeah, well, let's get back to the ninth world.
Yes.
Do you have something to say? Not really. At least not in the calm.
Yes.
Okay. If I ever gonna play this game again, and I don't think I will, but if I will play with and Rin, because Rin is my favorite character, and is the only character I haven't traveled through the ninth world so far. And I think Calestige or Matkina were my second favorite characters. As you wake, realize that the part of you that was Atalio is gone, torn from your mind and devoured by the bloom. Apparently, the bloom also managed to kill you in the process, but the maw has fed, and now it's open. Natalia, I think you're safe now. I can't believe you offered yourself to the maw for me. I've seen military comrades risk their lives, but I never thought I'd see the day when a cast-off might. You have my deepest respect. But I'm still going to keep my insouciant air. People expect it from me. Let's talk about the repayment. I'll honor my agreement. What did you want for your labor? I accept coin. He nods solemnly and enters his tent. Therein he uncovers a small chest that is festooned with locks both mechanical and mystical, and performs some sleight of hand. The chest opens for him and he scoops out large handfuls of chins. The debt is paid, my friend. You have my gratitude. Just a few more questions. Okay, farewell. What about you, Ronard? Aren't you happy that Atalio is fine again? Okay, not really. Now, what's in there? The trade post, where I want to go, I think. So, let's save this game. Yeah. Trade post. And let's change the name of the stream, because I will not step into the mutant quarters today, but into the trade post. The Crystalline. The Crystalline trade post. Oh yeah. And another thing I'm gonna do is configure the video so that I'm visible now. Isn't that beautiful? That is so beautiful. Oh, is that beautiful? Then I don't need that light in my face, because that hurts my eyes. Do it like this. Now, continue the game.
Yes.
Step to the trade post. Come, chameleon. A scene of horror lies before you. The walls and floors turned against the inhabitants of this chamber, opening toothy orifices to drag them down and devour them. Judging by the half-devoured wagons and other debris, this was a market of some kind, or a trade post. To your left, across the room, is a massive, slumbering maw. Its mouth gapes open, and a portal shines within. This is not... Ooh. The Ascension. The Crystalline Ascension. Now the stream title makes sense. Anything else here? A mouthful of thorny fangs gapes in the floor. It's dormant now, but the teeth are wet with blood. This toothy orifice is frozen in the act of devouring a table. You notice small notches in the wood on one side, tallying sales or days spent in this nightmarish place. This round orifice is rimmed with rows of razor-sharp fangs. Human flesh and hair cling to some of the teeth. The fleshy ground is torn here, revealing a mass of glistening, boneless creatures. It's not clear if they are parasites or some foul progeny of the bloom. Necker. Tasty. This gaping orifice must have opened beneath the wagon, and bloom tendrils pulled it down. Loot!
Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. That's right. Cheeky. More loot! Take it is where? And what's there? Behind the massive glands that block the doorway, you see nothing but solid flesh. This chamber has been cut off from the rest of the bloom. And now that some time... There will be the time that I have to go through that. Why? Okay. Now, tongue cluster. What's up? A wriggling mass of tendrils rises from the ground. They remind you of the tongues that surround a maw. Writhing and twisting around each other, they make wet, unpleasant sounds. As you draw near to the cluster of tongues, the voices of the bloom begin to chitter and hiss in your ears. Listen carefully. The hissings and chitterings are completely unintelligible to you. If if indeed they mean anything at all. Well, that can be arranged. Let's get bloom juiced. Nice. Now, what's that you were saying? Even after drinking the water of the bloom, you can't hear the voices clearly. You'll have to make a more direct connection to their tongues. Touch it. You carefully reach into the cluster of squirming tendrils. When they touch your hand, they pass through it, and a prickly hot-cold sensation runs up your arm. With the water of the bloom coursing through your body, you can sense a difference between the voices here and the ones you heard at the mall. This particular tongue cluster has roots that extend throughout the chamber, and its whispers control their movements. Aha. Listen to them again. Touch it again. Leave the tongues alone. Okay.
Fair enough.
Let's go there. Oh, maybe I should talk to Eritis because I just freed him from his curse? His nanotech demons? You emerge from the portal into an alien world. The air is thin and bitterly cold. The sun is a tiny white globe in the sky, casting dim light over a landscape of crystalline beauty. You see no sign of organic life, only glittering crystals in every direction. Pity we had to go through the bloom to reach this view. Almost worth it though. Almost.
Sure
Step
enough.
there. Altus, where are you? There you are. How are you? He lost his glow. I have questions about you. Well, yeah, do you feel any different? My ideas don't feel as shouty as they used to. But other than that, no. Really? Are you sure? I think I'm still me, and that me hasn't changed. How are things between us? Okay, let's continue. Yes, we've been standing still for too long.
Can't stop thinking about your meal of vest. You know, you build up an impression of what a city of immortals might look like. Libraries and such. Maybe some tea shops. That wasn't a city. That was a prison, built by your changing god. And your siblings live there by choice, bickering over who owns the cutlery while their executioner waits at the door. Why do all of you let him get away with it?
This isn't about me or the changing guard, is it? What else would it be about? He declares, throwing his hands up in the air. They falter there and fall back to his sides. Oh. Oh, you're right. It isn't. You bring out the honesty in me. I hate it. And yes, being honest, I don't see much of a difference between your changing guard and me. Give or take immortality, mind you. What? I never set out to hurt anyone, he says, planting his hands on his hips as though he is holding himself in place. But I did. Didn't always mean to, but there it is. His hands tighten on his hips, shackles of flesh and tendon. I regret every time I left a friend to take the bite from me. I do. And I swear I'll never run again, but then I do it again. He closes his eyes. what again? Oh. If only I could tell you my mistakes as easily as that. But I've made a lot of them, and I wouldn't know where to start. Put it like this. I'm alive and happy I am, but Riz was far from the first friend I left behind. His teeth graze his lips and he hastily adds, accident or no. You're saying you'll leave me when it suits you? I hope not, lad, he says with a weary shake of his head. But I can't promise you that I'd keep my promise. He straightens with visible effort, favoring you with a smile. I'll say this, though, and with all the honesty in my heart, you make me want to try, and that's the truth. Now, what did you want to talk to me about? Anything about you to okay. Still in the Nilyash? Okay. Let's continue on. I'm with you. That's good. Sorry, I wouldn't expect anything less. How are you holding up? He's fine. Okay. Elegant. Okay. Okay. Then let's see what this does. That's a crystal. That's a crystal. Unreachable.
All right.
See more crystals. Doran.
Sure enough.
And there it is again. Okay, Doran. Oh. Okay, they don't talk to us, we talk to them. Okay, okay.
Happy to help.
What's this? This shelter is built from a variety of exotic materials. Synth steel, pliable metals, and adamant silk. It looks like it's been here a long time and has probably served many different groups of explorers. Ooh, you can go there.
Finally, something to do.
Warmth radiates from this device, providing relief from the frigid air. It could be the equivalent of a campfire, or it could have some other long-forgotten purpose,
Let's do
or
it.
both. Loot!
Of course.
What's that? Patience everlasting. The polished pearlescent surface of this crystal shimmers, a faint glow illuminating it from within. When touched by another object, a seemingly random color blooms from the point of contact, with the potential for it to overtake all of the crystal's hue. Pressing another object before the change is complete summons another color, and when the two meet, they blend into a third. The crystal will eventually turn to black, resisting all further change until reset to an opaque shade of ivory. Take it.
Fine.
More loot. Take it all. Okay. Sell that. Keep that. Who wants it? Who wants it? Who wants it? Ooh. Might. Let's give that to Elegant, because I won't need that. They're just not up here. Alrighty then. So,
Let's go.
let's talk to Dora the Explorer. Hey, you. I'd keep moving if I were you. No offense. Are you lost, little cast-off? I serve the prophet Doran. Speak to him, not me. As Clarion. This tall, lithe man has an unkempt shock of bright red hair. His skin is ashen as if colored by the dust of old tomes. It's been a long time since he's seen a real sun. His smile is thin and twitching, and a demented light burns in his eyes. Another cast-off, he says with a sneer. Another echo. Why an echo? The strong are those who act, he says, closing his eyes as if quoting from memory. They change the world, break the sky with their thunder. Demented light, okay. His eyes open, dark and disdainful. And then there's the echo, a weak imitation of the source's fury. Claiming to be more important than it is, casters are echoes of him and deserve none of his glory. Well, both are true, 1 and 2. I claim no importance than I deserve. Although... What's our tides? I think it's blue and... I think it's blue and... The other thing. Blue and gold. Not silver. So it would be true I claim no importance. On the other hand... There are many cast-offs who have a large effect on the world. I claim no more importance than I deserve. It's always the same with you and your kind. Stumbling around in your father's footprints, clamoring to be noticed. Your father doesn't shout to be heard, he is, and the world bends itself around him. Okay, who are you? Asclarian, he says the name proudly as if you should have heard of him. I act. He falls silent, his eyes glittering with contempt. Anything about the Ascension? I can, but I won't. The Prophet Doran will decide what you are allowed to know, Echo. Magmatic Annulet, ever seen it? Okay, so he does. I've seen it. What do you mean you act? The Prophet Doran hears, he says, nodding at the man standing nearby. And depending on what he hears, I act. He eyes you, fingers curling at his side. So, what are you then? A man like him. A man of action. Why an echo again? Even your questions are echoes. You are an echo because you're not the source. It's simple. So you do what Doran says. No. I act on his words. That's taking orders. It would to you. You don't know what we are. We do not tumble about the world like you do, inflicting little damages or claiming to be more than we are. We listen. We decide. He takes a long, shuddering breath, calming himself. Then we act, but no one tells us to do so. Yeah. Farewell, Asclarian, you fucking fuckhead. Now, for the screenshot of today's, or the thumbnail of today's stream, let's position ourselves. That's looking nicely. Oh yeah. Save the game. Wait until this game saved is gone. And then click on Doran. Bow! Yeah. Oh! His name is Doran, and I said Dora the Explorer because she was an explorer, and I didn't see that his name was Doran. Or maybe I did kind of remember it, but I didn't remember that I remembered it. You know? Well, what a coincidence. This tall, weathered man nods to you. He holds himself stiffly as if something will crack off if he moves too quickly. He glances at your tattoo and smiles. Hello, Castoff. I am Doran, prophet of the Changing Guard. It's been a while since we've seen anyone come through here. What's your business in the Ascension? Dracogen sent me. Is that so? I'll leave you to your business then, unless there's something else you wanted to discuss. What can you tell me about this place? Very little. There are crystals, there are lights, there's no one to talk to, and little of value to find. It's a lovely world, but I fear we may be wasting our time here. Really? Nothing else? What are you doing in the Ascension? Seeking. We have it on good, though possibly outdated authority that this place holds more of your father's secrets. We found nothing yet, however. Until we do, we are enjoying the sights and the silence, the crystals and the lights. Our pursuits have taken us to less pleasant places. What do you mean, prophet of the changing guard? A title only. The cultists of the changing guard believe I have a special connection because I found some well-hidden secrets of your father's ones. Between you and me, I just got lucky. What secrets did you find? Nothing that would interest you. An old workshop of his with some trinkets. I didn't understand any of it, but the cultists were ecstatic. They drafted me as a prophet and confiscated everything. Well, everything I didn't sell first. Fair compensation for my efforts, you know. Ready to do cult? We are cultists of the Changing Guard, yes. Though I'm afraid we have little to do with our colleagues in Saga's Cliffs. There is not a lot of oversight between our churches. Really nothing else? Okay. The Magmatic Annulet. Have you seen anything like that? No, that is interesting business. Sadly, I cannot help you. We've seen nothing but pretty lights. To be honest, I think that's all there is to this place. He wants me gone, so he can have the Magmatic Annulet for himself. I figured you out, Doran. I figured you out. Bam, and bam.
Of course.
Even as it floats weightless in the air, the megalith bespeaks adamantine heft, perhaps because of its contrast with the surrounding crystals. The stone bleeds need, even hunger, and a telepathic whisper rasps the thought, product, in your mind. Study it. Although from a distance it seems to be a single stone, up close you can see that it is covered in many small scales, each inscribed with a different pattern. Halls and loops and arches are as distinct as those of fingerprints. Okay. Whether it is a mechanical construct, a living being, or something else entirely is unclear. What do you want? Product, I only. No other. Give, I only. Return, happy bubbles. What product? Pull off a scale? Elegant? Eritis? Yeah? Why don't ya? Ooh, critical success. Digging your fingers deep under the scale, you rip and tug with all your strength. At last, the scale snaps off, revealing a tube-like fistula leading into the megalith's interior. As a small object rolls out of the tube, your mind explodes with the megalith's outrage. No, bad hatchling, no bubbles. And then, its thoughts fall silent. The floating megalith you encountered in the Ascension spat out this random collection of crystals. They appear similar in nature to Ascension crystals, while they have no apparent function. You should be able to sell them for some shins. Well, no, that's stupid. The other scales press more tightly against the megalith, and a thin, oily coating seeps over them. No more prying will be possible.
Yes.
Okay, let's not do that. I want to see what this megalith's about, because I've never done that. I think in my first playthrough I also pulled off the scales. What do you want? What do you want? Tell me. What product? What's the product you want? Come on. Sign megalith. I mean, what product? What's it? Okay. Leave it alone. Goody.
Fine.
Let's go there.
At last.
That sounds, looks important. Hello. Oh, there! Quick save. This massive crystalline structure looks like a shrine of some sort. Colored lights float about inside, each one like a tiny galaxy, trapped within the crystal. As you approach, the crystal begins to hum. The resonations shake your skull. The humming shifts and increases until you hear a voice. Revel. The bright voice echoes directly in your mind. It stutters, uncertain, like someone trying to remember how to speak. Greetings, Pendant One. I am the speaker. Welcome to the Ascension of Crystalline. I am sorry, but the Oracle no longer exists. The lights pulse once, then a much deeper voice emanates from the crystal. Revelation. The Oracle was immortal. Time was the weapon that killed her. Something clicks or cracks within the crystal, and it speaks with the bright voice again. I regret that without the Oracle, I will have very few answers for you, but I will do what I can. Wow, revelation? What? You are mistaken. Speakers are not authorized to grant revelations without the Oracle's permission, and the Oracle is no more. You hear another crack from deep within the crystal, as harsh as ice breaking underfoot. The deep voice speaks again. Revelation. The speaker cannot hear itself give revelations. It stutters and falls silent for a moment before saying in the bright voice, I wish that I did have some revelations for you, Pendant One. Alas, that time is long past. Pendant One? A few of the lights pull together, creating a glowing circle in the air. No, not a circle. A pentagon like your tattoo. Patterns are what we do, Pendant One. Life is pattern, and your life more than most. Your thoughts hold a certain shape. A shape I've seen before. The light twirls and chime wistfully. The lights twirl and chime wistfully. A man came through here long ago. He did some work here, I believe. Or maybe came to hide something or find something. He never revealed to me his true purpose. But you're the speaker. What does that mean? My full title was once the Speaker for the Oracle of Crystalline. It says the name with soft reverence. I heard questions from pilgrims, relayed them to the Oracle, and then conveyed the Oracle's answers via revelation. I gave wisdom to this entire world. The crystal's light dims. Now I speak for no one. I have few answers to give. The deeper voice speaks again. Revelation. When the speaker dreams, and dreams of weeping. Sometimes the tears are made of light, others tiny black gems. This reminds me very much of I don't remember its name, but this oracle from The Hitchhiker's Guide Through the Galaxy? To the Galaxy? I think it's To the Galaxy. I have it right there somewhere in my bookcase, but nah, fuck it. Deep Thought, right? Wasn't that his name? Its name? I think it was Deep Thought. Okay. Doran and his companions, what about them? I do not, nor do they know anything about me. I will not speak with them. Its answer is surprisingly curt. Why not? The lights inside the crystal dim slightly. I do not trust them. They don't taste right. You hear a sound in your mind remarkably like a clucking tongue. I cannot explain it.
I think I'm ready to try something new.
Revelation. The deep voice adds above a chorus of brittle snaps from within its body. The speaker tastes a strange pattern to one of the humans. Two patterns of thought where there should be one. Can you read my thoughts? No, but I can taste them. Among other things, that's how I know to speak in your language. What was the oracle? You are standing on it, or rather, what remains of it. The Crystalline built the oracle to answer the most difficult questions of existence. The voice grows wistful. Then the Yanish left. The oracle remained for 100,000 years or so before it Broke down, I suppose. All that's left of the oracle are the phobits. Several sharp clacks resound within the crystal. The deeper voice says, "Revelation. The phobits were not always sentient. Cogitation. Would they have become so if the oracle had not chosen disintegration?" What are phobits? The lights dance within the crystal in a manner you can only interpret as proud. We are the phobits, the sparkling lights you see inside some of the crystals. If the oracle was a brain, then we were its neurons. Each one of us had our own job, our own specialization. You can't speak to the others, of course. That is to say, they are perfectly intelligent, but they are entirely unaware of you. The only reason you and I can speak is because of my role as speaker. The others weren't made for communication or perception. The speaker throbs. The deep voice cuts into the air. Revelation. Common phobits were used to store activation states and simple information. Some may still react to basic physical stimuli. Ah, okay. What happened to the Lianish? I do not know. They left one day, abandoning the Ascension entirely. Perhaps they ascended to a higher form of life. In any case, they did not need the oracle anymore. Again? Phobits? Oracle? My sire said something here. Do you know where I might start? I apologize, but I do not. Investigation was not my specialization, only speaking. The crystal vibrates once. The deep voice speaks. Revelation. The speaker can speak to all sentients, even those that did not exist at the time of its creation. Yeah, that one?
I think I'm ready to try
Of
something.
course. They know nothing. I don't see what interpreting would. The speaker trails off, pulsing thoughtfully. No. There is a way they can help. Several phobits in the area were in charge of transmission tracts, communication pathways, connecting the Oracle's smaller subsystems. When the Oracle passed, those pathways became obsolete and their phobits quiescent. But those tracts could serve as bridges to help you explore the area. The deep voice booms. Revelation. Like humans, the Alinish also required physical structures for traversal. Only a few phobits specialize in areas requiring this knowledge. The speaker is not among them. The speaker's bright voice returns. Try to interact with the phobits. When you do, I'll ask them to activate or deactivate. They may not all be as helpful as we'd like, but I think you'll figure some way to get around. Farewell. Farewell, Patterned One.
Sure enough.
Okay. Phobits. Where's them phobits? That's one phobit. And that's one phobit. That's not a phobit. Okay. Oh, and that's broken. Too bad. Then phobit through here. Oh yeah.
Of course.
Ooh, Tiber has learned something today. Ooh, yeah, increase age. Ooh, speed or intellect. Let's cancel that shit and see what weapon he uses. Uh-huh. Yeah. And what abilities he has. Sucker Punch, Speed, Hook, Might, Feint, ooh, nothing. Elocutioner, Issue Challenge, Intellect, but I don't use that. And limits of human capacity. Ooh, that's a good one. Okay. Does beat calculate into initiative. Guess not. I'm with my 4 edge, I'm so good with my intellect that I don't think that Tibia really has... come on, let's give it to him. Intellect, yeah, give him. Good. Nice. Great. Well, let's continue. No, let's not continue, because that was supposed to be a pre-break. So, let's pee all together in the same room. Let's pee on each other. Let's pee on each other. What? Zwischendurch, Mic check. Zwischendurch, Mic check. Beautiful. Just a beautiful. Okay. What's that?
Ready.
More crystalline bridges.
Absolutely.
That's this might thing, right? Okay. Yeah. And what's that?
Ready.
This crystalline structure is distinct from all the others. It looks older, more fundamental, but by no means basic. It is one of the more complex structures you've seen in this place. Large portions of it glow, emitting a low rumbling hum that you can feel in your chest. Blurry lights flit across the surface of its largest gems. Scusi. Are you a phobid? A wave of force pulses out from the crystalline structure. Your body shudders with the impact even though you hear nothing. Can you speak? The crystals release another single pulse, jolting your body. You get the strong impression that the pulse means yes. This phobid is not like any other you've seen. It may not have the communicative qualities of the speaker, but it is trying to talk to you nonetheless. What is your function? Maybe try yes and no questions, huh? Last cast off? The glow dims slightly, and the blurry lights on the gem surfaces disappear. You realize they weren't lights at all, but images the phobid was trying to show you. When they reappear, they show a flat, crystalline plane. Then, one by one, shards emerge. They bud and sprout in the shape of the other phobids. As you watch, they continue growing, creating ridges, walkways, stairs. In one corner, you see the speaker flower out the crystals. In a matter of seconds, this entire region of the Ascension has taken shape in the image before you. This phobid built it all. He's the builder. Your function again. Magmatic Annulet, I've seen it. The large crystal pulses once. An image appears of a human figure walking through the Ascension into a cave. The details are too fuzzy to make out who it is, but presumably he has the amulet. After a while he leaves the cave. The images move quickly then, crystals growing and shrinking as time passes. Suddenly, the entire image shakes and the cave entrance is gone. When the cave entrance closes, it doesn't look like a simple collapse. Crystals grow up from the ground, as if they are intentionally blocking the way inside. Why did the cave close? The violet light dims for a moment, and an ominous pulse shudders through your body. An image appears of some kind of multi-legged clawed creature you've never seen before. Show me again. Okay, you closed the cave, didn't you? Can you open again? The light within the crystals freezes in place, and the humming of the phobid ceases. It stays motionless for some time. Finally, you feel the single pulse of force through your body. Yes. You feel the ground rumble under your feet. After a few moments, the vibrations cease, and the phobos shows you an image of the cave. The crystals that block the entrance are gone. Farewell. You feel 2 quick pulses through your body, and the crystal structure goes still. Let's continue. Living crystals! That's cool.
Sure.
Let's call it then not the crystal, the city of living crystals. Yeah, why not? It's ultra geil. Okay. What?
All right. All right.
Yeah, take it all.
Don't mind if I do.
Take this. Ah, get these. Woohoo! Oh yeah! Can I retract them? I can. Oh, then let's not do that.
At last.
Okay, step into the cave. Ooh, snap! Ooh. Scenic beauty is all real good, but where's the wine? Where's the life to this place? Blah, blah.
Ready.
Okay, give me that. Yeah, gimme, gimme, gimme. Gimme, gimme. Isn't that an ABBA song? But different?
All right.
Alright. If this was Baldur's Gate, I would go through here slowly to check for traps, but it's not, and I can't, and I won't. Ooh. Thinker's Cap. Ooh. The intersection points of this net of fine filigree is marked by small white gemstones. When placed over the head, the gemstones buzz and shimmer, firing information directly into the mind. This increases the user's intelligence, though the effect can be overwhelming at times. Yeah! That's an artifact. Ooh, yeah. Good. Good, good, good.
Let's do it.
Then I have an intellect edge of 5. Nice.
Happy to help.
What's that? An impenetrable field of energy seals off part of the cave.
To action.
Yeah. This machine is similar to the one next to it, but it doesn't have any sort of interface or control panel. If it appears to be trapped in the central crystal, it flickers excitedly. This device seems to be the source of the low hum that permeates the cavern. It's receiving power through thick cables from 2 large machines against the wall.
Yes.
And in here, the stasis pod is dull and lifeless. There's no visible way to activate it.
Done.
Well, maybe that's the visible way. And that's where I come from. Okay.
Let's go.
All of the cables in the room connect to this bulky machine and its twin. They generate a low rumble that you can feel in your feet. As you approach, a screen lights up. A strange maze-like rune flashes angrily in the center of the screen. 3 other glyphs revolve slowly around it in an elliptical orbit. A bolt of lightning, a set of parallel lines, and a circle. Okay. Okay. Let's try the rune, although it looks like it's deactivated or defect. A picture appears. It looks like a technical schematic of the device behind you at the center of the room, the source of the low hum. Vertical lines of runes appear next to the schematic, but you can't read them. Are you sure I can't? I think I can. Although you can't read the runes, the gist of the message becomes clear. It's a warning about the device with the two crystals at the center of the chamber. The device has deteriorated to an unstable state, and any fluctuation in power is likely to result in an interruption in function. The runes do not say what will happen if the device ceases to function, or if they do, you cannot decipher it. Okay, initial screen. Okay. Parallel lines. An image appears of the pod in the far corner of the room. The image of the pod is dim. A circular symbol sits next to the image. Yeah, of course. Open it. Both the symbol and the pod light up on the screen. The circular symbol pulses in time with odd symbols that march into the image of the pod itself. In the far corner of the room, new noises indicate that the pod is now receiving power.
Let's go.
Okay. Meaning, rings of energy pulse around the stasis pod. There appears to be nothing inside it, but a control interface hovers a few centimeters off the surface at one end of the pod. Surprisingly, the words on the interface are written in the truth, and you can understand them. There are several options, but most of them are dimmed out. The only two functioning options are check status and access data. Then let's check the status. A picture of the pod appears. The lid on the image is closed and flashing red. Several other places on the image of the pod flash red as well. The text says, Stasis pod empty, error, self-diagnostic failed. Cannot open stasis pod. Primary functions offline, data integrity 67%. That's alright. Access data. A list of records appear. Several of them are crossed out with the word corrupted next to the name. Most of the functioning records are mundane, like system integrity results or lists of lab equipment, but there are a number of functioning dated records labeled experiment notes. Okay. First experiment. An unfamiliar male voice reverberates throughout the room. Preliminary investigations suggest that Massive was correct. The crystals of the Ascension bear the properties we require to complete the resonance chamber. The Annulet proved invaluable in reaching this place and may have other uses besides. So it will be some time before I can return it to Drakic, and much more experimentation is required before I can know for certain whether the Ascension holds what I seek. Oh, it's the changing guard. Right, this looks like part of the resonance chamber in Sarkos Cliffs. Second experiment node. The secretions of the crystal are one of the few substances I found that can eat through the living crystal of the Ascension. I've had several larvae brought here for that purpose. Dracogen exudes patience with regard to the Annulet, but I've dealt with other Dracogens before. He will only remain patient for so long before he decides I have cheated him. No matter. I fear the sorrow more than I feared them. I have several experiments running simultaneously while I wait for the crystal to grow. True to their name, the crystal wars have proven quite adaptable to this environment and invaluable to this part of the process. The Ascension natives may prove useful as well. I had ignored them initially, for although their speaker is capable of cogent communication, it has proven useless in providing any real information. However, I have since seen other natives accomplishing some remarkable feats with the crystal itself, so I captured one for study. We shall see if there's more I can learn from it. Number 4. Several of the crystal wall larvae hatched prematurely and escaped. It's unclear how it happened, but I suspect that someone came looking for the amulet while I was buying supplies and sagas. No doubt they tampered with my machines in their efforts to find it. To prevent further sabotage, I have placed the amulet and the remaining larvae behind an energy field. The power generator can open the field, but it now requires a passcode sequence to ensure there is no further tampering. I am not foolish enough to record that sequence here, but should something happen to me such that I forget, the 3 geodesics through the berry center are the key. The voice says nothing more. If that was supposed to be a hint, its meaning is unclear. Perhaps it would make more sense when looking at the power generator itself. The 3 geodesics through the berry center. Of course, of course. Number 5. The escaped crystal walls are growing and breeding. They now constitute a serious threat to my work. I've built a device to emit sound waves at a very specific frequency, lulling the creatures into dormancy. So far, it appears to be an effective countermeasure, but I shall have to keep careful watch to be sure. I must also make sure that the power generator does not experience any interruptions lest they wake again. Number 6. The voice speaks between ragged breaths. This will be my last entry. Dracogen's patience has worn thin as I knew it would. His agents are outside and will no doubt break through. My defenses momentarily. If they do... Oh, I'm hyperventilating. Shit. Oof. I've never done that in my life. I've never hyperventilated, but during playing Torment of Numenera, this happened to me. I came close to it more often than all time before my life. Then, you know what I mean? Than before, ever. I have come close to it. Okay, so no ragged breaths from me. If they do, I will have to abandon this body. I don't know when I'll be able to return, but I am. The voice cuts off. There is no more of this entry. Of this entry. On the 7th experiment load. The voice on this entry is the same as the other entries, but it has none of the confidence from before. I don't know what's happening. I woke in this cave, surrounded by angry men demanding something called an amulet. I don't know what it is, but they attacked me. I didn't know what to do, so I fought back. I killed them. The blood, it's everywhere. Some of it's mine, but most of it... I found these notes afterwards when I was trying to figure out what was happening to me. I couldn't figure out how to retrieve the amulet, but those men were sent by someone called Dracogen? I don't know what any of this means. I'm going to find out, but I'm leaving this message in case I don't make it back. I don't know who will listen, but, well, I figured I should leave something of me in here. Somewhere. In case I don't get very far. Close the list of records. Check status. Status report. Port empty. Okay.
Gladly.
Gladly. So, let's be careful with this thing. Yeah. We had this. We had this, the circular glyph. What's that? An image appears depicting the humming device in the center of the room, the one with 2 crystals. Symbols flow into the image, showing that the device is currently receiving power from the machine before you. A circular symbol pulses each time a symbol flows into the image. Pressing it would likely cut the flow of power to the crystals, causing the humming to cease. We don't want that because of the crystal wars. The circular symbol is outlined in red, suggesting that the function of this device is particularly important. Let's return to the initial screen, and let's try to figure out the key to unlocking the force field experiment notes. So easy. Way too easy. Okay. The 3 geodesics through the berry center are the key. Watching the glyphs revolve around the central rune, the meaning suddenly becomes clear. The symbols increase and decrease in size as they move around the rune, traveling more quickly when they come close to it and slower when they are farther away. They aren't revolving, they are orbiting, and the rune is the berry center. The definition of geodesic rises from the depths of your mind as well, and means a great circle track, the shortest line between 2 points on a sphere. On a hunch, you draw a line from each of the 3 symbols to the others, curving the line through the rune in the center. The symbols stop orbiting, lines appear where your finger drags across the interface. Soon you have 3 curved lines connecting each of the symbols, 3 geodesics, through the same berry center. The interface disappears, replaced by an image of some kind of field projector. Triumphant, you cut the power to the projector. Okay, okay, across the cavern the force field deactivates, but only the force field. This is fine, right? Okay, this is fine. Naturally. Okay. Let's zoom. This one looks cute. What's that? Devouring shell. That's a good one. This smooth oval dome resembles a large egg sliced lengthwise. Well, yeah, it does. Its silky but unyielding surface is marred by an irregular crack running most of its length, into which have been wedged many tiny crystalline rods. It emits a faint, sickly sweet odor, and a slight shimmer envelops the rods, like the air over a fire. The underside looks and feels fuzzy, though it's seemingly formed from the same substance as the hard shell. It clings to your touch, and when you pull away, you notice a drop of blood on your fingertip. You suspect it might be unwise to stay in contact with the object for too long. Okay.
Ciphers are killing me.
Yeah, I know. Ah, shit. Plus 20 armor. I mean, if anyone could make use of it, it's this guy. Heals 10 intellect. 5 users. Okay, I don't need to use that. No. Plus 5 on non-combat tasks. Okay. Minus 2 on the speed pool. Ah, fuck it. Let's continue. And let's get these.
Yes.
What's that? Hero. Oh no, that's hero protagonist from Neil Stephenson's thriller. Cyberpunk thriller. I forgot the name. But it's a good book. Okay. Foo. How wow. This thin, short length of bright silken string is innocuous. But when rubbed between the hands, it starts generating its own heat and energy, eventually uncoiling into a whip of dark red crackling energy. When it strikes an enemy, it tightly constricts itself around the target. Take it!
I'm carrying too many ciphers.
I know you are. Okay, ooh. Then that's one for Elegant. Okay. Now, what is this? Nestled among the crystal formations is a steel pod. Cables pass in and out of the pod, glowing with energy. As soon as you're within arm's reach, a shining interface materializes in the air between you and the pod. There are a few strange symbols arranged in a circle around a filigreed pentagon similar to the tattoo on your head. To the tattoo on your head. Oh, okay. I think I've never looked this beautiful. No, the lighting is quite all right. My dear jalousie. No, not jalousie. Nrolo. Curtains? Curtains. I think that's curtains. What's this? Blinds? No, that's blinds. Let's continue. Touch the symbols around the pentagon. Nothing happens. Touch your own tattoo to the center symbol. Okay. Okay. We have the Magmatic Annulet. This crystalline circlet is as black as the sky behind the stars. It twists and curls in eye-bending patterns, emanating power as if absorbing and snaring the realities of the world. The Changing Guard used this device to understand the whispers of the bloom, focusing its chitterings through the amulet as through a prism. As you draw closer, the filigreed pentagon glows more brightly. Your head becomes warm, but not uncomfortably so. When it touches the light, you feel a small amount of energy flow out from you. The cables on the pod pulse quickly, and the top of the chamber opens with a hiss. The only item inside is a hyaline circlet, as black as the sky behind the stars. The Magmatic Annulet. You remove it from the pod and take it with you.
Updated my journal.
The chamber has a shut, and the interface vanishes.
Yes.
Nothing? Okay. So, we have what we've come for. And we can do stuff here. But do we want to? Let's save and see. Let's do a hard save. We haven't done one for quite a while. Yeah. Last one was the autosave. Okay, that's a good name. Crystalline Cavern. Can't argue with that. Circular glyph. Oh, that's the humming. No, the initial screen. Parallel lines. Oh. Okay, turn that off. Can we do other stuff with it now that it's off? Can we open it? No, okay.
Fine.
Lightning. The rune and glyphs disappear, replaced with an image depicting the bank of 3 large crystals. Oh, those ones, to your right. Symbols flow into the image, showing that the device is currently receiving power from the machine before you. A circular symbol glows next to the image. Each time one of the symbols enters the image of the crystals, the circular symbol pulses brightly. Pressing it would likely cut the flow of power to the bank of crystals. Okay. The circular symbol dims, and the symbols freeze in place, no longer marching into the image of the 3 crystals. To your right, lights on the bank of crystals fade. A phobot blinks and chirps within one of the large crystals, finally freed from its imprisonment. It zips around in the crystal, makes cheerful noises in your direction, then vanishes in a flash of light. Or maybe that's the product that this cube outside wanted to have. Okay. Let's leave it off. Okay. could open that. I think I know what happens then. I think we will release the crystal wars. But maybe if we kill all of them, that's better than imprisoning them for, well, almost forever, but not quite for forever. I think, because forever is a long time and there's always something that can happen. See, nuclear power plants.
I'm ready.
We've done that. Yeah, the last one is the step away from the machine and just go out of here. Okay, just go out. We won't free the crystal wars. Crystal wars will not be freed. Okay. Oh. Why are they standing there?
Yes.
Well, then let's
Now.
talk to him. Or it, rather. Hello. Okay, bye-bye.
Gladly.
Now this one. Do we have the product now?
I'm ready.
Maybe? Guess not. Let's talk to the speaker. We did free a phobit. The crystals light up and sink into your mind. Greetings, Pendant One. It is good to see you again. Farewell. I guess that means we have to confront them. Or does our quest log say something else? Yeah? Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay.
Sure enough.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Doran bars your path with a slight, confident smile. Greetings again, Castov. Whatever you did in that cave has caught the changing guard's attention. He knows you're here now. And he has asked me to destroy your mind. Do not resist. Suddenly his pupils slide out of view, not up, but sideways, as abruptly as if they've been slapped. Yes. Of course, it won't be long now. His pupils return from the opposite side. Is this a fly that's tickling me, or is it my cable? I don't know. What just happened to your eyes? What? Oh, of course. Apologies. I didn't mean to alarm you. He seems to mean this. Your father speaks to me, he says, pointing at a tiny device at the base of his skull, too small to have noticed before. He has told me that he has need of your body, and I have learned over the years to trust what he says. Hand of sorrow touches his eyes. It is time to return your father's property, Castov. When did he? Years ago. Doran says simply. He taps the base of his skull. Ever since this device attached itself to me while I was exploring one of his abandoned laboratories. He's asked me to tell you that the erasure of your mind will not hurt. He will simply nudge your mind into oblivion and take its place. He will be among us at last, thanks to you. What is that device anyway? One of his mouthpieces, he says, brow furrowing. Apparently, he had assumed this was common knowledge among cast-offs. Smiling, he shakes his head in self-deprecating amusement. I picked this relic up, examined it, and discarded it, but then it shot up from the ground and chose me, claimed me. Your father has spoken to me ever since. How would it proceed? Simply, he says, drawing himself further up, just bow your head and your father's mouthpiece will leave me temporarily to bond with you. You will close your eyes and it will be done. It must be exhausting, he says, compassion in every line of his face. It must be impossible, knowing that your every breath is borrowed, that your discoveries do not ultimately belong to you, and that your only marks on the world will be the ones he does not wipe away. Thankfully, we are here to take that burden from you. It is time to sleep, Cast-Off. It is time to surrender. How can he be speaking to you? He looks confused for a moment. In your mind? I don't... He raises a hand to his head. Ah, it seems he is in your mind, but maybe you've forgotten who we were talking about. The Changing God has been alive for centuries, maybe more. He would never let himself be trapped or rendered helpless. He is never powerless. I am proof of that. I'm tempted by your offer. I understand. And that is why we are here, to take your pain from you. What? No! What? Eritus says, looking frantically between the two of you. We can't surrender. That's no ending for a story like ours. Unless surrounded, protecting orphans, baby animals. Orphan baby animals? And then we're all executed. Darwin watches him with polite interest for a few more seconds before turning back to you as if nothing has happened. Just one. Be smart. Yeah, be smart or I'm gonna kill you. Yeah, better be smart, man. His complacency drains in the face of your threat. His eyes pop open wide. His hands fly instinctively to his ears as though someone were shouting at him. I'm sorry. This was a mistake. I'm not strong enough. I don't want to. There's a high-pitched keening. Doran clutches the device at the back of his skull as though it were hurting him. He groans, swaying, with a sorgy crump. His head bursts with a single horrified glance at their fallen prophet. His followers flee. Slurp.
I'm going.
Gauntlet of murder. This deep black metal gauntlet twinkles like the stars in the night sky. If you listen closely, hum can be heard emanating from the glove. Blah. Slug spitter. Okay, these are not rare. Ossified Trifolium. This three-leaved plant is black as pitch and hard as stone when held. When pressed against an article of clothing, the stem extends and insinuates itself into the fabric. When the leaves are brushed, the wearer sees a vision of a young auburn-haired girl embracing a dark-haired boy before turning away, followed by a wave of visible, intense longing from the boy before fading. Take it all. Okay. I'm ready to learn something new. Extra effort. Yes.
My understanding has increased.
It has. Good, good, good. Though I feel I'm not finished here. Maybe we have the product now? From these oddities?
Fine.
I thought they went there.
I'm going.
Product? Okay. Okay.
Go.
Maybe I should open the... This... I should open the Crystal War cage and kill it?
Happy to help.
Do it or don't do it? Why should we? No, let's keep the Crystal Force there and go out. Get out of here. What's happening now? Well, that's inconvenient. Looks like we're taking the long way back, whatever that is. Oh, it's closed. Ah. Uh-huh. 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 Okay, so the Magmatic Annulet lets herself go out of here. Okay, touch the bloom tongues. Nothing. Touch the Magmatic Annulet. You grasp the Crystalline Artifact. At once, the voices of the bloom grow louder, and louder still. They fill your consciousness, drowning out your thoughts, hissing and whispering and chittering and buzzing. They're coming from every direction, from above and below, from nearby and far away. Swaying on your feet, you nearly topple to the floor. Slowly, the bloom voices resolve themselves into their constituent parts, but now they carry sense impressions with them. Hunger, curiosity, desire. Each burst of bloom voices evokes a new impression in your mind. For a moment, you let go of the amulet, and the sense impressions are gone. The voices are nothing but meaningless babble. Then you touch the amulet again, and the sense impressions return. You realize that the Magmatic Annulet is a translator of sorts, though the limits and scope of its power are uncertain. Listen to the nearest voices. You hear the cluster of bloom tongues whispering softly to you, exuding a sense of expectation and familiarity. These tongues know your scent, or perhaps that of your sire, and they are eager to touch your mind, but their voices are not the only ones here. A score of other voices gibber and shout from the dark corners of the room. Ordinary human voices that once belonged to the merchants, guards, and bloom guides who were devoured here. Fragments of their minds cling to life in their half-digested corpses, and they cry out in confusion, rage, or pain. The distant voices? You focus on the bloom voices that are coming from outside the trade post. What seemed at first like an indistinct babble is actually many different voices, thousands of voices, each arising from somewhere else in the bloom. Some of the voices belong to individual maws, evoking impressions of hunger and need. Others resonate from deeper places within the bloom. When you concentrate on those voices, you experience flashes of intense emotion or catch fleeting glimpses of men and women being beaten or killed. Every voice is unique, chittering, groaning, barking, whispering, rattling, hissing, yet all of them are the bloom. Again. Okay. Distant voices? Okay, communicate with the bloom tongues. Relaxing your mind, you allow the whispering of the bloom tongues to penetrate your thoughts. Memories rise into your consciousness, trivial moments you thought you had forgotten. Just as you recognize them, they are swept away. The bloom tongues are sifting through your memories, looking for something. The voices dig deeper into your unconscious. What seemed harmless at first becomes irritating. A dull ache blossoms in the back of your head, spreading across your skull and down your spine. The pain comes in waves, as if the bloom is trying to wrench a memory out of your brain. I know that the bloom doesn't like it when we heard it with our title searches. On the other hand, feeding on a memory sounds... Normally these memories are gone then. Let's see what happens. Dimly you are aware of the bloom's presence in your mind, pulling at a memory hidden deep in your unconscious, like a stubborn tooth that refuses to be torn out. With a final gout of searing agony, the memory bursts into your conscious mind. Okay, 3 damage to health pool. That's okay. You stand under a blazing purple sun that was never of the 9th world you know. Your body sits heavy on you, unfamiliar muscles rippling as you move, and move you must. As your boots lose their propulsive power, you must scramble at the sheer rock face for the extra boost, pulling yourself up with your battered hands, trying to reach the eye socket of the mountain-sized statue. You laugh madly, and you can feel your consciousness straining to leave this shell. You gain the safety of the cavern eye. You look below to see your pursuers swarming up the cliff. You are defiling their holy ground, and they mean to make you pay in blood. Their lamprey mouths, their many arms, and the needle-capped suckers on their hands all suggest that they are more than capable of taking it. Except as they come, you hold your hand out above them and curl it into a fist. The air coalesces into an acid shower that rains down among them. Their screams are like an opera. The memory ends, slurped from your mind like sugary nectar. You remember witnessing it, yet the memory itself, the collection of sensory impressions that was actually experienced by the Changing Guard, is gone, devoured by the bloom. Okay, it wasn't ours to begin with, so that's okay. The bloom tongues sag drunkenly against each other, as if the feast has made them languid and confused. Go off the amulet. Still not open, okay. Touch it again. Take control of the bloom tongues. No problem for me. You reach across the barrier that separates your consciousness from that of the tongues, a barrier now made permeable by the amulet. Tentatively, you begin to direct the motions of the tongues. It's a strange sensation, like having another set of limbs, but they respond to your impulses. Belatedly, the tongues try to resist, but with a bit of concentration, you quiet them like errant thoughts. These tongues, you realize, are a tiny locus of the bloom's consciousness. Their roots extend throughout the trade post, and now so do your thoughts and commands. Ooh. Release the human minds or steal the knowledge and memories of the human minds. One sounds like, or two sounds like a dick move. But I played through it before and I think I chose one, so maybe now I can choose two. Ah, but that's evil. Well, restore the portal to Chayurchan Slump. You cast about with your new senses, but you cannot find any remaining link to the Chayurchan Slump Maw. Even its whispers have fallen silent. It appears that the portal is gone and the tongues have no way of creating a new one. Original location? You close your eyes and relax your mind, probing the limits of your new senses. The roots of the bloom tongues run throughout the trade post, but they also extend some distance into the surrounding flesh. A few of them trail upward, tracing a path toward an open cavity in the outer reaches of the bloom. Steeling yourself, you take hold of all the tendrils at once, urging them back along that path, clawing their way toward the surface and dragging the trade post after them. The ground buckles and churns beneath your feet, and the whole chamber begins to move. At last you open your eyes, and the shaking subsides. The blocked archway is opening. You hear astonished voices outside. Hello. Okay. Before we do that, we should really not... We should free those mines. Or get them into us. One or the other. And I really didn't make... I didn't make a save? Like an amateur. Oh, okay, there's the autosave. Okay, I understand. I understand. Yeah, let's go there.
I'm ready.
Yeah, it's fantastic that we're trapped here, right, Eritus? We know that, we know that. Chunk cluster! So, we can't do that, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, if anyone's watching, should we do option 1 or option 2? I don't know. Feuerglatze. If this was the first time that I played this game, of course I would do option 1. But as I already did option 1 in a previous playthrough, I kind of want to see what option 2 does. Steal knowledge and memories of the trapped human minds. A few moments of concentration reveal that the snaking roots of the bloom tongues are still connected to the corpses. Hair-like fibers grow through the putrefying flesh, linking to their half-dead brains, keeping their minds alive. The tongues have been gradually drawing out the memories and experiences of the dying human minds and feeding upon them. You force them to extract everything that remains and funnel it into your own mind instead. As each brain is emptied, its gibbering voice falls silent, and it dies. Well, at least they are dead, so that's okay. Their scattered sensory impressions and half-formed memories are knowledge of a sort. additional perspectives through which to understand the world. Your mind feels sharper and refreshed. As you finish emptying the dead minds, you sense a deep subaural rumble from the bloom. Your impression, filtered through the amulet, is one of affinity and of approval of what you just did. Okay, thanks, Miss Bloom. Now, move the trade post. They are gone. They are gone. Okay. They gone. Goody. Let's save. And yeah, go there.
I'm ready.
Itchy scratchy. As you emerge from the trade post, you hear sharp intakes of breath. The two merchants you met earlier are staring at you in amazement. That great jaw and the teeth, they're gone. The portly human beams at you. Was this your doing? If it was, you have our deepest thanks. Indeed. Trade awaits us in the Ascension place. We should go. Yes, yes. The human nudges his friend. But it's still damned impressive, eh? I thought the Bloom only answered to the Memovera. Where is she when we need help? Hiding in her fortress, that's where. Oopsa!
Why, of course.
Okay, Grisla, anything new with you? I have no idea how I voiced him at the first time, so... You spoke to her, didn't you? To the Bloom, I mean? And she listened. That troubles you? It doesn't trouble me so much, but it might trouble some. I can find my way just about anywhere in this great big sack of piss and corruption, and I say that out of love. But even I can't reshape the Bloom. Guess I'd be careful about using that kind of power if I was you. The folks in charge might mistake you for a threat. Happens a lot around here, and I'd hate to see it happen to you. He shrugs and the lopsided grin returns. Now, what can I do for you? I know all about the Bloom and her moors. Does he say the same thing? Oh, yes, he does. Okay. Goody. We have the Magmatic Annulet now. I don't know if we should keep that or not. I think we will go into Little Nilyesh the next stream, next week on Tuesday. But before doing that, we can get this frame for Elegant. I think he would like that very much. So that's what we're doing now.
Of course.
And here. Which looks pretty dangerous, but let's do it anyway. Because where's the fun if we don't do dangerous stuff? Save. Frame? Question mark? No question mark? Okay. Okay. Pick that up. The dry walls begin to glisten again, and the muscles resume their quivering. Ah! Touch the Magmatic Annulet. We feel an old and malevolent maw here. One that has fed over countless centuries and will feed for many more. Worse, you can feel it stirring itself from a fitful drowse, and its hunger is palpable. Get out of here! Not the way I'd like to see you go out, friend. But then again, you've got a knack for getting through these scrapes. Be careful though, alright? Elegant lays a hand on your shoulder for a moment. I fear no danger, Eltis announces, and then he eyes the glistening walls. But I've already been digested. It's an experience that you shouldn't have more than once. He backs away slowly. I'd like a good piece of meat as much as anyone, but don't you think this is taking it a bit too far? Tybia pauses, then raises his palms to forestall an argument. Not that I don't think you can handle it, but, well. You are left alone in the glistening space, and then the horror begins. The little maws converge on you, some of the tendrils holding you immobile, while others tear great chunks from your flesh and toss them into the glowing singularities at their core. You scream. All around you, the bloom responds with excited and gleeful whispers. The sounds of brutal feasting are the last thing you hear, as darkness claims you.
I can't die.
Okay. Been through worse? Yeah, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay, yeah.
Of course.
Let's go back.
You die? How did I miss that?
Go.
Okay.
Job done right.
Let's save again over the frame.
All right.
Let's see what's in there. Ooh, it's loot. Quite a lot of it.
All right.
We have the soul of the forgotten. This casket is all that remains of the forgotten people who once lived and prospered in the Ninth World. Their names are etched into the lid in markings that resemble no known language. While beautifully engraved on the outside, the casket is minimalist, even bare on the inside. A single pastille lies within, containing the essence of those who created it. Black metal frame. This metal frame is about as tall as a human, and perhaps twice as wide. Rivets hide cleverly constructed joints, and the entire structure can collapse to the size of your forearm. Take it all?
Dated my journal.
Gods, that thing. I don't even want to touch it. Let's get it to Earth before something else happens.
All right.
Can rats! This strange device resembles a heavy cinder block with a protruding lens that retracts and extends. It releases a brilliant flash of light whenever the button on the side is pressed, and strange images form on the block's cracked crystalline panel. This is the heart of Mali. The pendant is composed of lead. Ooh, that's not good. That's toxic. Set within a heart-shaped indentation filled with a green liquid. No matter how you turn the object, the acidic-smelling solution does not tip out. The liquid seems to gently slosh as if it had a will of its own. When placed against skin, the metal grows warm and sizzles gently until it becomes fused, though it causes no damage. It can easily be peeled off without leaving more than a mild blister. While bonded with the pendant, The wearer feels a sensation of contentment, tinged with childlike wonder and confusion at the shape and nature of the world. The item seems to hold some manner of charge, one that slowly builds through the thick of time and ages. Take it.
I'm carrying too many ciphers.
I know you are. I think I will sell that anyway, so let's give it to Tibia. Eritas, I mean. Yeah, fuck it. Fuck it. This immense pile is comprised of shiny baubles, decorative objects, and broken bits of Numenera. Most of the treasure has no practical value whatsoever.
Ready.
Astronomical Americas, nice. Filled with ingenious clockwork mechanisms, this cobalt orrery depicts a solar system far different from your own. The tiny planets orbit and rotate soundlessly and endlessly. The pattern of their paths no doubt revealing alien destinies and prodigies to be puzzled over by learned beings in some distant unknown place. Maybe the Lascar. Here, it is merely a novelty, though one that invites contemplation. Floating pendant. Held by an invisible chain, this pendant is in the shape of a tiny simplified bram. It has no apparent weight when held or worn. The invisible chain snaps itself around the wearer's neck when the pendant is held to the chest. Skeletal remains of a human lie amidst the treasure, clad in shiny armor. Unfortunately, the armor is purely ornamental. Brightly colored bits and bobs form a small pile here, all of it completely worthless.
Ready.
Feather cloak. This cloak is made of solid gold feathers held together by an unknown force. Whatever causes them to adhere to one another also keeps the weight from your shoulders, as it is surprisingly light to wear. When struck, the feathers stiffen, offering protection to the wearer. When the wind blows through the cloak in a certain way, the feathers rustle together, the soft tingling reminiscent of a child's singing. 2, 3, plus 20 movement speed. Okay. Compass of the Navigator. This synth device appears to be a compass of some sorts. Runes and eye-twisting markings lining its edges. The compass arrow swings in seemingly random directions as if it were trying to steer you. Is that a good one? 2 armor, 3 resistance. No. And there's a... Oh, yeah, okay, that's a skeleton. Shiny. And that's one huge axe. Okay. What's it do? Tucked away in this fleshy abscess is a sculpture of a pickaxe embedded in a jumble of stone blocks. Near the sculpture's base is a bronze plaque. Examine the plaque. Etched on the plaque is a short message. Better to swing the pick than strike the vein. Chins are shackles and treasures chains. I understand it. Maybe there's a part of it that I agree with. Tybert chuckles long and low. Spoken like someone who dislikes their money and shackles. I don't think the artist and I would have gotten along. Again? Okay, examine the pickaxe. The shining metal handle towers overhead, completely out of reach. You couldn't touch it without climbing the sculpture itself, and even then, it looks far too heavy to move. The pickaxe trembles, and you blink. You felt the motion in your mind. You may actually be able to affect this sculpture with your thoughts. Yeah, for sure. You focus on the handle of the pickaxe and think, move. It twitches, but nothing else happens. Shutting out every sound around you, every tremor in the floor, and the soft thumping of your heart, you put your full attention against the shape of the tool above you. With a hoarse, scraping sound, The pickaxe retracts from the stone blocks, and a waterfall of shins cascades from some inner recess in the sculpture into a pile between the blocks. You won a battle of wits with the sculpture. Congratulations. Leave the sculpture alone. We're leaving. But what about all the treasure? I remember that I, of course, took it the last time, and there were unfortunate side effects. I don't remember what it was, but no, don't touch it.
Yes.
Now let's touch it. Take them anyway. You quickly scoop up the shins. With each handful, the queasiness seems to sink deeper into you, fogging your thoughts. Okay. Just sleep a little. 180 shins? That's okay. That's okay. Leave the sculpture alone. That's worth it. We have the gold and blue tides still, so everything's fine. Now...
Yes.
Now, let's see what this frame... Yeah, nothing. Okay.
Ready.
Step out of here. Okay. Now, I think the last things that we're gonna do today is, well, talk to Skara because we're here. I don't know what we would talk to her about, why we should talk to her, but, well, you never know. Farewell.
Ready.
And then we'll step into the Mare Caster. That's the last thing of today. Ooh, yeah. Did I save? No, I did. Astronomical Mare Caster. Use the item, I'm sorry. As soon as you place this device in the palm of your hand, the stately dance of the clockwork planets mounted upon it becomes a frantic spinning reel. In the heart of the thing, a contemplative hum grows, as though the machine itself were studying the path of the planets above it. Listening, you hear shadows of words within that sound, speaking of the mare within this device. Inspect the Marecaster. You study the whirl of the planets in your palm. Your eyes might be deceiving you, but it does seem as though some of the orbs are slightly transparent and that tinier planets are orbiting within them. Cool. Enter the mare. It's bright. Blue. Once you had 24 words for all its hues and shades, metaphors to glaive's capes and courtesans' eyes. Now the sky is just blue. The ground is stone, the man before you fat. Now all is vague and drab, like... The memorialist sees you've stopped, and he holds us well. Let's have a rest then, he says, passing you a bottle of fortified water as he catches his breath. You know a word for that too. This drink they brew in the Valley of Dead Heroes. Gone. Oh, you knew, now it's gone. We aren't far from the cenotaph. The fat man wipes his brow. Deep in your pocket, your hand feels for the round tin that hosts the worms. Your fingers clutch it tight, and as they do, they brush a piece of paper. Yeah, I remember that, Mare. Are you a shadow? The memorialist asks abruptly. Caligat Anvor, I mean. The one you came to see? Without waiting for a response, he barrels onward. You thought he'd cast his shadows among his own kind, for reason that with the tabard gone, his line was lost forever. He stops and flushes more deeply, then, hastily, with a sign, adds, but shadows fall where they will, as they will. Caligat Anvor. Tabard. Shadows. They flit around the edges of your mind, escaping your grasp, but the worms, they are well within reach. Shall we continue, pilgrim? The memorialist asks to break the silence. One more short hike will do it. Your body is ready. Your mind is not. And before we continue, I have to do one last pee break. I'm sorry. See you soon. Back! Tell me about Kalagad Anvor's shadows in Tabat. And one last mic check. One last mic check. Good. What? The memorialist regards you skeptically, as if he expects to be the butt of a joke. As he looks in your eyes, however, he softens. We live in a world of darkness, pilgrim, and each of us is just a shadow of one of the great heroes buried here in this valley, where there's a light that shines behind the world. To know it, we shadows must measure ourselves against the heroes who cast us, and thus learn the light that lives beyond. I thought you set out on this pilgrimage to visit the tomb of Kalagad Anvor because you were his shadow, that you wanted to stand before him and find enlightenment. Am I wrong? Are you a shadow or not? I don't know. The memorialist nods. That's how it is. I've met pilgrims who swore they were lords and ladies of old, but when they reached the grave, wept in shame. But I've also seen a novice stumble across her hero by mere chance. If you find Kalagad Anvor, you will know who you are, or not. He gestures to the hilltop to which you've been hiking. Just over that rise is the monument. As for his tomb, he said that the cenotaph would lead the way. I can't see how, but for the famous puzzle breaker of Saga's Cliffs, I'm sure it will be simple. Your mind might still be clouded, but at least now the form of things has become clearer. Paper in my pocket? You slip the crisp, neatly folded sheet from your pocket and carefully open it. I will want the worms, but I will be strong. I will wonder what I have lost, but they will only rob me further. I will endure, and I will build the tower of my intellect anew. Kalagad Anvor will furnish the material. The mind link, not the worms, will be my tool. The mind link. A dead-eyed trader from Haref sold it for the last of your once great heap of prizes and bounties. Now it's slung from your belt. A hideous mask with a synth tube hanging off it like some Satoshi tentacle. Examine the tin in my pocket. The tin is old and unremarkable, scuffed and dented, but sturdy enough. It opens easily. Inside is a clump of bristly worms, blind and thin, barely moving. Your fingers itch and tremble. Your nostrils flare. You no longer know their name, but you know exactly how to use them. Careful not to spill the precious contents, you close the tin and slide it back into your pocket. Let's not, snort worm. Let's go out to see the cenotaph. As you follow the memorialist up the crumbling path, he carries on about a time when all the roads in the valley were as well paved as the streets of Saga's Cliffs. Then, reaching the hill crest, he falls into reverential silence. When you catch up, you see the sight that awed him even for the 1000th time. A clutch of exquisite monuments, ranging from vast to miniature, from abstract to eerily lifelike. The memorialist points to one of them, a many-sided slab of black stone, and gestures for you to follow. This must be the cenotaph of Kalagad Anvor, Tabat general and would-be world conqueror. Up close, the cenotaph is not so remarkable. Its faces are adorned with gruesome, stylized reliefs depicting the Tabat and their dragolith mounts and trampling the corpses of their foes. Neat geometric glyphs encircle the panels. Like the images themselves, they are embossed rather than engraved. The memorialist clears his throat. Of course, Kalagad Anvor isn't here. Like the other heroes, his body is in one of the cells in the catacombs beneath us. This is its own sort of shadow. All memorials are. As your guide mumbles something about the difference between expression, impression, and reality, Your attention returns to the cenotaph itself. Examine the images. No doubt some historian could tell the tale behind each panel. What doomed race the Tabat annihilated here, what grand battle was waged there. But to you, they are just an ugly blur that tugs at shameful memories without ever quite dragging them to the surface. This is not the knowledge you came for. On one side of the cenotaph, there's something else, an obscene picture, crudely etched rather than raised, its edges scorched black. The memorial clears his throat awkwardly. A graffito from just after the Tabat were beaten, carved with a plasma torch by a bitter nano. You don't exist. Hate rate, Hoss, 00312. So, yeah, you are not. You are ignored. You bot, you. The visual pun on Black 3 must be obvious. Sadly, we can't possibly fix the damage. Study the glyphs. What seemed at first individual glyphs are far more complex. Smaller symbols assembled into larger patterns, linked into chains, twined and twisted into knots. Never a tangle or ramble. It is more mathematical or scientific notation than language. Okay. Running your fingers across the glyphs, you see that they shine briefly under your touch, then fade. Perhaps there is a formula here to be solved, a structure, a higher hidden order to be found. Perhaps here you could catch glimmers of the Tabat's military mastery, but the sieve of your mind holds nothing, and any secrets slip right through. As you struggle to decipher the symbols, the memorialist hurries over. This one means war, he says, illuminating a cluster repeated endlessly on the cenotaph. This one, death. He picks out others and shows how the ideogram for soldier weaves into war band, which can in turn mesh into column or army. Excitement grows in his voice as he leads you to another panel and shows you the unique markings that compose the pattern for underspine. A high council, we think, or guard. He notes what seems to be a structure to the writing, a pattern within the pattern. Could it be a puzzle to open the way to Karagadhanvor? He asks expectantly. You have no answer for his hopes. Study the basin. Carved into the cenotaph's plinth is a wide, shallow bowl, perfectly smooth, perfectly ovoid. In its center is a small drain that runs into the monument. Around its rim is a geometric pattern, simple and composed of a single recurrent shape. You recognize the symbol. Blood, of course. It could be nothing else. Your guide keeps back from the basin as you examine it and shares no thoughts. Yeah, okay. Another look at the glyphs. Try to find the correct sequence of glyphs. You trick yourself into thinking that you can crack whatever code this stone holds, but neither logic nor luck makes any headway. The glyphs shine and fade, but nothing happens. Given the endless combinations, not even the persistence you had of old could break through this lock. Once again, you guess at possible series of glyphs that might provoke some reaction from the cenotaph. If there is a key, you do not find it. Okay. Spill some of my blood in the basin. Beneath your guide's worried gaze, you nick your wrist and drizzle some blood into the bowl. Nothing comes of it. Whatever flows through your veins will not slake the stone's thirst. Okay. Either we completely lose our mind, or this memorialist loses his life. I think in my first playthrough, of course, I snorted the worm. Now, memorialist, you have to die. Perhaps your guide underestimates the strength still coiled in your sinews. Perhaps he imagines your body has gone soft as your mind. Or maybe his faith gives him no cause to fear leaving this world of shadows. Oh, good point. Whatever the case, he hardly seems to flinch as you swing a jagged rock towards his head. The sound is more a thud than a crack, but any fool could see his skull is smashed. You drag his body to the basin and saw at his neck until the blood begins to run, filling the bowl faster than its narrow drain can empty. You step back and watch as the glyphs glow bright blue, casting with their light a kind of shimmering portal in the air. Through it, you see hints of a room. Yeah, well, Judge Judy, you've done the same thing yesterday, so fuck you still. Examine the portal. Some sort of room, bathed in blue light, lies beyond the portal. The tomb of Caligar Anvor, it would seem. The knowledge you seek awaits within. Just, dear other viewers, just so you know, these are bots that I'm talking to. I'm not cursing at real people here. I would never do that. I'm not that guy. Take another look at glyphs. No? Okay, step through the portal. You step toward the wavering energy field and stare at the blue-tinged tomb beyond. The blood price has been paid, and Caligar Anvor rests within. Tarrying no longer, you plunge through. The tomb's walls are bare stone, as is its floor. In fact, the room is empty, except for the sarcophagus that sits at its center. It looks like the resonance chamber. A crystalline Numenera that hums with ancient, indefatigable energy. Indefatigable? I don't know. Bathed in the portal's light, the room feels almost underwater, a sensation heightened by the air's unnatural weight. Study the sarcophagus. The sarcophagus is divided into 3 parts: a wide bier, an elongated pentagonal coffin, and a curved lens-like lid. The bier is decorated with familiar glyphs. You recognize war and death and purity among them. But these designs hold little interest. They are just catchwords, and they will teach you nothing of the Tabat genius. The coffin, for its part, is a single hunk of milky aquamarine. Its lid is less opaque, and through it you can see the corpse's silhouette. Most importantly, you notice a simple locking mechanism holding the two together. Opening the sarcophagus would be a straightforward matter. Well, open it. A few twists of the coffin's cylindrical locks, and the lid rises up with a hiss of icy, age-old air. As the mist clears, you see the last face. You see at last the face of Caligar Anvor. You feel nothing at the sight of him, never having known the terror of his triumvirate. His inhuman features are slightly mummified, but well preserved. His tabat is faded with time that even the sarcophagus could not keep at bay. But it is his head that matters, not his clothes. His head and its brain, and the inside sheath within, an edge keen enough to cut through the tangle of your own failures. Use the mind link on the Tabat corpse. Okay, exciting. Once you slip the helmet over your face, you can see and can barely breathe. Trapped in the mask's damp darkness, you fumble for the socket at the base of the corpse's skull. At last you find it, and, still struggling, try to bring the conduit tube into contact. Suddenly, the darkness explodes with light. The nebulous patchwork glow of your own mind, and beyond it, the glorious mandala formed by the thoughts of Caligar Anvor. That's a cool effect for mind reading, I gotta say. A mote emerges from that pattern, and a confused voice whispers, "You are not the underspine." Almost instantly, the geometry of his mind transforms into a star fortress from whose bastions dagger-like shapes stream forth. "You will not taint my thoughts," the Tabat voice rumbles as his fleet soars toward you. There's no time to try and reason with him, if that would ever be possible. Yeah. I know at my first playthrough, I think I fucked up here. I think I let him in. And maybe I have to... And I think that didn't work. I guess I have to... Maybe it's training we need here. So the first option. Or fend him off. One or two. On the other hand, I don't want to destroy him, so yeah, fend him off. You knit shut the ragged fringes of your mind, focusing on contracting yourself into a tight, hardcore bound by its will to live. The cutting thoughts of Calicut Anvor flash at the perimeter of your defenses, probing, testing, seeking entry, but to no avail. At length they withdraw to the Tabat's own pattern. For now, you are safe. The texture of the general's mind ripples as he arranges his thoughts, absorbs what his scouts have scraped from your mind. At last, like a messenger, a sphere splits off from the pattern and floats before you. Pilgrim, I have seen the secrets you keep from yourself, the endless battle you meant to end, and the red wreckage your solution left behind. I am unmoved. I killed more, lost more, and fell farther without surrendering the truth. The sphere shimmers and flattens into a kind of mirror. You have come because you would prove yourself again, through me, by me. The thought floats slowly backward, but I am not your underspine. I mean, the Tabat are very good at warfare, so I think he's trying to distract me while he's doing something else, so let's not do one or two, but study his mind. You see a wide crescent of Uriel reavers, ready to sweep down on an outnumbered but unfazed band of Tabat scouts. You know they will fight free because Anvor knew it then, before the battle even began. You see the city of Sargus Cliffs rising above the plains like a beacon, a treasure, a false icon to be smashed into pieces. In the depths of the general's mind, jagged, violent thoughts seem to be mustering as if for war. At the moment, they are scattered and in some disarray. Aha. Yeah, like I said. So, let's not talk to him, but attack his mind and plunder his knowledge. Death has not dulled the Tabat's weapons or his will, but the mind is more than a mere battlefield, and riddled and rotten as yours may be, it is not yet bereft of all its old gifts. You confound Anvor's defenses with a flurry of bright weavings, while stabbing your lines of thought deep into the perfect geometry of his mind. In the end, that is all it takes. His thoughts destroy themselves, unraveling even as they seek to mend the breaches you have cut. Order turns to chaos, and the great light of Calicut Anvor to a mere shadow. In this rout, you rip whatever wisdom you want from his supine mind. Then, as he fades, you slip free from the minding end, moments later, of the Tabat's tomb. The sky outside is still blue, blue and vast and unbound. It needs no words to hem it in. Like the pilgrim beneath it, it is fertile in its emptiness, not barren. With empty pockets and a yearning mind, you return to a journey that is not only unfinished, but barely begun. Yeah, nice. Didn't get that far my first time. Booyah, Kascha, Game saved. I'm out. Peace, yo. Vielen Dank an alle, die die ganze Zeit dabei waren. Du weißt, wer du bist. Und morgen, Mittwoch, 19:30 Uhr, Die Sims 4. Donnerstag, 17 Uhr, Stalker, Shadow of Chernobyl. Montag, Baphomets Fluch 1. 19 Uhr bis, 19:30 Uhr meine ich. So. Wieso ist der Stream gestoppt? Nee. Ach, das ist meine App. Oh Gott, gut. Ist ja nur die Twitch-App. Dann, hey, yo. Bye. Yeah.